Hello there. I am Aidon, and I will be playing Gabriel Monroe, the thinblood, he, him.
Hi, I am Aubrey, and I will be playing Alannah, the also thinblood, and we both use she, her.
Hello, I'm Solomon, and I'll be playing Alexander Gladstone, the thinblood, and both of us use he, him.
Hi, I'm Termite, and I'll be playing Ivy Reed, the thinblood, and both of us use she, her.
And I am Legacy. I will be playing the Storyteller. And I use she, they pronouns. London. The city of smoke. A no man's land for those in the world of the unknown. After the fall of London back in 2012, the final bits of flesh that cling onto the city become desperate to reclaim the lands that once held the hub for power. Some in the name of a lost king, some in the names of a revolution, and those with maybe other intentions. The only problem lies that even the most powerful had to play their hands like a game of chess, unnerving, watching all of the moves of the pawns before striking with their knights and bishops. But this isn't a story about the knights or the kings or the queens on the board. No, this is a story of the pawns. What is a thinblood? Thinbloods are vampires that are so removed from Cain that they don't benefit from the abilities of a full-blooded, while also not feeling the negative effects. Duskborn, half-bloods, signs of the end times. Those would be some of the nicknames that one would associate with their kind. This is not a story about full-blooded kindred trying to grasp for power within the city. No. This is a story of 4 Duskborn trying to survive. Good evening, players.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello there.
New Year's Eve of 2023. A celebration for those around. Another year survived, another year of her new hope and resolutions for those who feel hopeful enough to bask in another round of promises for self-improvement. Cold and it's dark, as the 4 of you have gotten so used to in the time of what you are. You know you're not fully human. You know you're not fully beast. You're somewhere in the middle, trying to celebrate just another year around the sun, just like the people that are around you. Our first scene starts at the 100 Club, one of London's oldest and smallest music venues. The smell of scotch and gin begin to linger around the air. It's loud. Alannah.
Yes.
Your husband, the person that you love more than anybody in this world, his band is playing at this venue tonight. Something that you would have loved to celebrate with him had you had the chance. This is his big break after all. His band are playing something off of their new EP that is due to come out any day. How long has it been since you last saw him? Since you last held him and talked to him and kissed him goodnight?
Well, the last time I got to do any of that was, I believe, 6 months ago.
6 months. 6 long and hard months. You were thrust in a world that you knew nothing about. You had heard of the stories of Dracula. You've seen some of the animes. You've read literature. But those didn't exist 7 months ago. No, those were just silly little stories that people would share in order to make maybe a quick buck. But now it's something that you live every day. You stand in the back of the hall trying to remain out of sight because you don't want him to see you in your new condition. He's playing his bass. His eyes light up on that stage. The entire band is getting rounds of applause as more drinks are being passed around. The beat. You can feel the beat of the music vibrate on the floor as it goes do-do-do, 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 and you can tell that they're getting ready to wrap up their set. How are you feeling?
I thought that this would make me feel better. That, seeing him up there performing once again would make me happy, would make me happy for him. And I guess in a way that I am, but I miss him so much. I, more than anything, want to run backstage, jump into his arms, kiss him, and tell him what an amazing show that was. But I know I can't. And that, in the end, hurts more than maybe if I had just not come to this show.
The set wraps up. They begin to break down their set. Drums are put away, guitars back in cases. The glittery microphone that the lead singer has decided that he was going to wield around, despite maybe your efforts to try to get him to stop, are put away. A group of women approach the band. All of them are young and fresh-faced, some of them looking like they're in college age. They begin talking to people that you once considered some of your closest friends. Getting all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I want you to make me a wits and awareness check.
Wits and awareness. That's 3 successes.
Okay, wonderful. Our first roll of the year, and it is a major success for you. Because as you are taking in the sight of a new group of possibly groupies, fans of this band that you've supported, that you've helped build merch, that you've helped book venues for, one of the girls approaches him. And she tucks her hair behind her ears, and you watch them for a moment, 2 moments, and he's smiling and talking to her. And you see that he slips his wedding band into his pocket, wraps his arm around the girl, and the group of them begin to go back into a small room that you can only assume that they use to get ready. It's almost as if he's moved on. And that sudden rush of pain, those feelings that you had been afraid of for months, begin to come in and hit you like a brick.
Yeah.
You take a moment to process until you get a text message. You get one message, and then another, and then another.
sigh, sort of tear my eyes away from where they walked backstage and pull out my phone.
It's Jade, your sire's retainer. You know that your sire and his retainers have been out doing what you can only assume is recruitment, but you're not entirely sure. The text messages read, "He will be expecting another package." The next message, "You are required to do your due diligence." Then the third, "Do not forget what he has requested."
I send back an affirmative.
Once the text message is sent back, she sends back a thumbs up emoji as confirmation.
Mm-hmm. And I will take my chance and probably fall in with a crowd that's moving out of the venue, leaving it all behind.
All right. As you leave, the cold air begins to hit your face. It is still winter in London, and the snow doesn't know heartbreak. It doesn't know isolation. Freckles of snow begin to pepper your hair, and you make your way down to the apartment complex that your sire owns. When you reach there, you notice that the package is actually made out to you. It says, "To Alannah, love, Damien."
I'll take it inside, and once I've brushed all the snow off myself and the package, I will open it and see what's inside.
Inside is a small box. The box has some iconography carved on. One of the first things that you notice is a very small symbol of Clan Tremere. The box is a dark cherry red wood with all of the engravings and the iconography laced in gold trim. It's very fancy. But you know Damien's always had a bit of a flair for fancy. It's his calling card almost.
Yeah, I'll see what's inside of it.
You open up the box. The first thing that you see is a little note. Alannah, you've been doing your work and doing it with diligence. To say that I'm proud would be the closest statement to truth that I can physically give you right now. Take this as a token of my appreciation. I will be calling on you soon. I have someone I would like you to meet. Regards, Damien. You look inside the box, and the inside is a little pendant. It's an onyx black gem, laced and trimmed with that beautiful gold weaving through weaving around the onyx gem in a small chain to wrap it around your neck. On the inside, as you kind of study the onyx gem, you can see that inside is a small spider encased, almost like this onyx gem was ember and it was holding a fossil. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. I will, take a moment after I've finished looking it over and studying it to affix it around my neck.
Wonderful. Alright. It fits perfectly. Almost as if he measured out the chain to match your neck and chest placement. It's large enough for you to be able to kind of get a good look at it and know that it's there, but it's not loud or large enough to cover the beautiful tattoos that you have on your chest. It acts as though it's its own statement piece. Some was weird that their sire were to buy them jewelry. You don't know that many full-blooded vampires, let alone full-blooded vampires that would do something as sweet as just a small gesture. Go ahead and make me an intelligence and occult check really fast. You can add your specialty in blood magic.
Awesome. It'll be 3 successes.
You have heard of sorcery that allows you to convey a message. Using small etchings, magic. As you laugh at this and remind that a lot of times people's little sigils as almost calling cards, you peer into it. And on the inside, you see on the spider in very small writing a name of Angelica. You don't know what the name means. You don't know an Angelica. But you get the sense that he is trying to convey that maybe this Angelica is who he wants to introduce you to. That this might almost be an invitation of sorts. He hasn't told you that he's coming home yet, but you get the feeling that that might be soon.
Yeah, it's been a bit since he left.
It's been 2 months today. He's been gone for a very long time. Because he left you and your companion, Alexander, on Halloween night. With a couple of favors. Ways for you to earn boons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been picking up those packages and putting them in his safe for the last couple of months when they arrive.
At this point, you know, just from the amount of times that he has sent you over to his home, there have been about 60 packages that have been constantly being brought to his penthouse. Various sizes. Large ones that seem like they're in cooling containers, small ones that would probably fit just a tiny mailing envelope. But this one is different. This one was for you. You take a moment and you allow yourself to get a good look at the little spider on the inside. A daddy longleg. You know, and I'll give this to you because of your occult role as well, those insects are used in some rituals. You've seen your sire use them before to allow him the ability to cling to walls and climb up them. So maybe this could also be something else.
Yeah.
As you sit and kind of study the gem, we are going to move on. Gabriel.
Yes.
Your New Year's Eve is spent at work. You know that though London might be out and partying, that doesn't excuse you from working in the morgue. Unfortunately, the dead don't allow you to take a day off. It's cold. The room is dark, and some of the light fixtures haven't been fixed in quite some time, and so it has that eeriness to it, where some of the lights begin to flicker. And flicker. And flicker. You're currently working on a woman. Young. Early 20s. Pass away in a drunk driving accident after an unfortunate night of partying. She lies there with her face shattered, a broken jaw, broken teeth, bruised and bloodied. Yet she looks so peaceful. She just sits there on your table.
Would Cadaver be there as well?
Yeah. You see a little monkey hanging out in the back. You know that he doesn't like to get super close to the dead bodies, especially with all of your medical equipment. But he's there. He's messing around with some of the papers, some of your notes on your desk. Kind of throwing stuff around. Because he's just a monkey. As far as you know. As you're working on prepping this woman for her upcoming funeral service, a man with dark hair and very, very pale features comes down. He's in a suit. Very nice, very tidy. There aren't many of his kind around. But you know that he is one of you. Not one of you in the form of a thinblood. But they've begun to gain their presence back in London. Mario Giovanni, member of the Hikata clan. Member of what was supposed to be your family line. Mr. Monroe, I hope that your project is coming to fruition.
Yes, quite so. I'm making great strides in that regard. What, may I ask, brings you here this joyous night?
We will be having a family meeting to discuss some rather unfortunate matters that have fallen on our hands. Tell me, are you in touch with your sire at all?
I am afraid not. I doubt he wants to see me, sir.
That is a shame. That is quite a shame. We're always looking to rebuild the family.
Yes, well, if you get a hold of him, please let me know.
I'll see what I can do. He looks around the building and his eyes fall on Cadaver, your special little friend that you rescued from that vet's office all those months ago. And, Mr. Monroe, please make sure your pet is secure. We do run a business after all.
I assure you, sir, no one ever sees him. He's very well behaved. Oh, please, watch. Cadaver, I want you to fetch me the scalpel right next to you. Come on, you can do it.
Charisma and animal can check.
That's a 1.
Cadaver looks down, looks back up, and he grabs the scalpel. And you think he's gonna bring it to you. He gets on his little monkey hands and feet, and he begins to kind of leap from lamppost to lamppost, with the scalpel in his mouth. And he looms it over you. And he brings it to you in one form, by just spitting it out of his mouth, and it hits you in the head.
Blade first?
No, the handle first. So you're able to just kind of, when it goes and like hits you on the head, you're able to just reach in and grab it and kind of pull it down.
we're still working on that one, but you can see he's becoming quite a little helper.
Yeah. Very well. Just do us a favor. Make sure it doesn't get out of your work area and make sure that it doesn't interfere with your practices. We do need you at your best. And as he looks at you and he says, as you're at your best, his mouth curves into a smile that shows these sharp, shark-like teeth. Now, we do request your appearance at the next family meeting.
Of course, sir. Just let me know when and where.
You will get a calling card. It'll give you a location and a time. And I know you hang around with a couple more of your kind. If you could keep family business to family business.
I understand.
Good. I'm glad. Now carry on with your work.
I think as he says that, kind of wanting to, I don't know, maybe unnerve him a little bit, Gabriel will kind of just reach into the woman's chest and area and just pull out an organ and just begin to chew on it a little bit.
All right. What organ?
I'm feeling a kidney right now. I've got a craving for a kidney.
Craving for a kidney. As you cut her up and reach in and grab one of her kidneys, they're larger than you expect. A little bit fattier. Kind of give it a little squeeze in your hand and it expands on the ends just a little bit as you begin to kind of move that flesh to spread out a little bit more. And you put it to your mouth. And it gives you a relief that is sadistic in nature, but very calming for you. And it tastes quite lovely. You get a little hint of blood, that sweetness that most of your kind are able to just survive off of, but not you. You need the substances and the sustenance to come directly from the body. It's chewy though. You're having a hard time breaking apart the pieces. You can tell that this woman, whoever she was before she died, had a bit of a hard party phase. You can even taste a little bit of whiskey in her system. It somehow is still able to linger onto the kidneys. It's the closest feeling to being able to drink without wanting to throw it up. It lingers on your tongue for a moment as you begin to swallow. And it tastes heavenly. In the back of your mind, you hear a little voice. Another. Have another. You know you want to. So good. And she's not using them anymore. Have another. In fact, I'm sure your little pet there wouldn't mind if you maybe took a little bit of him. I wonder how monkey liver tastes.
As soon as Gabriel kind of gets those emotions, that feeling, he'll just kind of take one of his scalpels that he always has on his side and just prick his finger, causing a little bit of pain.
And that at the moment that you prick yourself, that feeling, that voice in the back of your head shuts up. Cadaver is just enjoying his time hanging from the surprisingly still sturdy for how old they are light fixtures. He's looking down at you. At this point, you can tell that he's kind of gotten a little bit jaded to the fact that you are eating people, dead or not. The body lays sprawled out. And I want you to make me one more check. And it's going to be intelligence and medicine.
Okay. Does this have anything to do with medical tools?
I will allow you to add the specialty.
Three successes.
Wonderful. As you go back to doing your work and prep this, and prep her for her ceremony of life, as the funeral home likes to call it, you actually have to go in and kind of remove those organs themselves in order for the embalming process to fully take off. So as you begin to kind of move those organs over from the body over to a tray area, you manage to pick up that that one of her livers has specks of black and it kind of spiders out like the spider veins. Small traces of this black kind of start at the base of the liver and rise up. Upon closer inspection, you begin to see that where the black kind of raises, little specks of purple are also tied in. You know from your studies and from what the Hecata have been so kind to teach you about what it is that they do, that somebody has messed with her body in a way that's not so natural. You're not quite sure what it is, but it almost looks as though there's some form of... You've heard of the Black Plague. You know what the cultural and historical significance of the bubonic plague was, especially in London, and how many people it's killed. Now, you don't know if that's exactly what this might be, and if so, how she managed to get it. But there's something off about some of her organs.
Would I know if for sure this would not be a natural occurrence? This would be more supernatural?
The purple that is mixed in with the black kind of spider bands would give it away that if it is natural, it's more sickly. If it's supernatural, it looks like the work of what your line has done in the past to people, for one reason or another.
I think Gabriel will kind of go over to a bag and take out like a what would be kind of like a lunchbox, and take out the liver and just kind of put it inside, and kind of look over to Cadaver as he does and just says, "Tainted meat. Shh."
Cadaver falls from the light fixture right onto your shoulder. He goes to reach for your glasses, and you trained him over the last couple of months, but he's still a monkey. You don't have a way of blood bonding him to you. Not yet. So, reining in and getting a little bit more control over him takes a conscious effort. But after trying to reach for your glasses and maybe struggling to get them off, he kind of puts them back and lets out a small, just little call right into your ear. Goes in and actually shuts the cover to the box that you put the liver in, so that way it's not visible anymore.
You'll just kind of give him a little scratch on the back and then stroke his head, and he'll kind of stop for a moment and stare at the body, and he'll kind of lean down to her level and whisper in her ear, "Sorry this happened to you. I'm sorry we don't have a way to beat it, but I'm working on it. You rest now." And kind of just strokes the woman's hair for a moment, and then goes back to work, kind of emptying her out.
Wonderful. As you begin to do that, we are going to move on. Alexander.
Hello.
New Year's Eve for you is always such an interesting time, because you are either going to be busy beyond belief with the amount of packages that people need delivered, or you have free time. Tonight is one of those nights where you're not being pulled in a million directions for people to have letters and postage dropped off. You're able to find a little bit of free time for yourself, a little time to go out and enjoy the nightlife. You're young. You're beautiful. Tonight's the perfect night to go out and enjoy that. Let me ask you. Is Alexander much of a party person?
Depends on the party. Not usually one for the, like, rave scene, but he would go to, like, celebrate at a bar and just get rowdy.
Perfect. You find yourself at a bar called The Last Resort. It is an old-style Irish pub, which is a bit interesting. Given that the guy who runs it is very much not Irish. Maybe Scottish. Maybe another weird form of British, because there just seems to be far too many different versions of the British. But he's not Irish. But everything in this bar screams Irish paraphernalia. The Irish flag is hanging up very proudly on one of the walls. The music is loud. Fake Irish, but loud. Dropkick Murphys.
Of course it is.
Whoever runs this establishment has a very fake Irish pride in themselves. Every traditional Irish bar, pub food is on the menu. Specific drinks that shall not be named are served as specials for tonight. The whiskey is a very luxury vintage to celebrate and ring in the new year. People are having fun. You find yourself sitting at a booth in the back. Dropkick Murphys have been playing on loop for an hour and a half. You can almost verbatim sing Shipping Out to Boston by memory at this point. Couple of really fun and attractive looking young women come in and they order a couple of drinks and they sit at the booth that is right across from you. One of them is a young blonde woman who looks like she could be in college. The other is a friend who looks equally as young. She's petite, redhead, soft green eyes. You've seen girls that look like this. They're about a dime a dozen. And one of them manages to kind of make an eye contact with you. It's the redhead.
I just smile and raise my drink and give her a wink.
Roll me. Intelligence and composure.
Oh no. Better than I thought I would do. 1.
Hey, It's a 1. Right, and I'm going to make a roll myself. As she looks at you and smiles, and kind of gives you a wave, and you raise your drink to her. You feel slightly chummier. Like, you want to get to know this girl. Like, she's got a fire presence to her. And you're not the only one. Her friends, the people who are around her, seem to be enjoying just being surrounded by this person. She's cute, she's fun, she looks like she's having a bit of a flirt with a couple of people. But her eyes, they shift over to you and they kind of land on you for a second. Almost as if she's seen you before. She gets up and approaches you. And she kind of sits at your table and leans forward a little bit. I'm sorry, you look really familiar. Did you, have you been to Oxford before?
Been to what before?
Oh boy. Alright. Oxford, the university?
Well, I've done some work there. Haven't exactly been taking classes.
You live in the city?
Around.
Around. You here for work, for pleasure?
City for work. Here. Depends.
Oh, is that so?
Yep.
And what's your name?
Alex. And yours?
She reaches out her hand. And with a bright smile, you can call me Jess.
He will take the hand and shake it. And he's just kind of like looking her over because there aren't a lot of people that really catch his eye too much and keep it this way. So he's just curious about her. So what brings you to my table? You had a bit of a party going on over there.
Oh, sure, but I don't know. I'm looking for something exciting and fun. Are you exciting and fun, Alex? Are you cool if I call you Alex?
It's the name I gave you.
Alexander. I want to make sure that I'm okay with that you're okay with the nicknames.
Alex is fine.
What?
As for if I can be cool and fun, generally depends on the day and the hour, but I'm feeling like I could work up to being that.
Alex, as you're kind of holding on to her hand, it hits you suddenly. This woman's hand is cold.
Yeah.
Very cold. And then it kind of hits you after you realize that her hand is cold. Her skin is pale. Even compared to the women around her and the people around her. You've seen people who are pale. I mean, you yourself know that your kind is because they're basically awoken from the dead. you get the inkling of a suspicion that touching this woman and feeling this all-around pleasure to be around her when she smiles and when she kind of looks you in the eye. Make me a wits and insight check.
Okay, that's slightly better. One again.
Okay. You're not able to get a rough understanding of what it is that she might be doing. She might just be checking you out. I mean, you know, you're very tall, you're buff. I mean, a lot of women check you out. A lot of men check you out too. It just comes with the territory of being where you come from. She pulls away after somebody else approaches her and kind of whispers in her ear. This one that kind of matches you in stature. Tall, broad-shouldered, very pale hair, kind of like more of that green in his eyes. He looks at you, he kind of gives you an up and down, whispers in her ear, and her eyes widen, and she gives you a bit of a smirk. Let me ask you something. Do you have any friends that might be looking for something to cling on to? Looking to get a bit more out of the laugh that they've been given.
Alexander's going to look at her, then look at her associate, and his body is slowly beginning to tense, and one hand is beginning to close into a fist. I might.
Do you find yourself wandering the streets at night?
I've become a bit of a night owl.
We're looking for people who are also wanderers in the night to join us for a little bit of a rib, a little bit of a meetup. My associate and I are we're looking for people who might vibe with us. If you're ever looking for something new to sink your teeth into, and she takes out a business card and slides it over to you. And it's for a place that is referred to as the Iron Maiden. Feel free to come and hang out with us.
He will take the card and just look it over, and then look back at her. Would he know anything about the Iron Maiden, maybe from just like word on the street?
You know what? What is your streetwise score? Let me take a look.
I have 3 in streetwise.
Okay, then I'll give this to you. Iron Maiden is kind of like one of those hush-hush fight clubs type places. It's where a lot of people go to practice like boxing, and to kind of just like work on their physique. It has been established for a couple of months now. It's not a place where people often frequent, but those who are in the know about the Iron Maiden. There's not much on the owner. Nobody really knows who the owner of this place is, but it's enough people frequent it to where there's been some talk on the street. It's a small building, nothing too big, and the people there, they care about going in, getting a couple punches in, getting some training in, and there is a weird sense of like camaraderie about people who go to this Iron Maiden.
I'll keep it in mind, and he'll just tuck the card away into one of his jean pockets.
Yeah. Well, listen, Alex, it was really nice to meet you. But I probably should get back to my party. If you ever decide that you want to stop by, just tell him Jess sent you.
I will. You have a good night now.
You too. And she gets up, and her compatriot follows behind her, and they go back to their booth. And once again, that feeling of just like joy that she's back, you know, you see it on the entirety of her table's face. And she leaves you there with your drink.
Alex is going to down the drink quickly and then, not alarmedly, but quickly hurry to leave.
Okay. As you leave, you get the same feeling of snow peppering your face. It's cold and it's damp and it's lonely on the streets. People are running off to their New Year's Eve celebrations. Some are getting ready to watch the ball drop because it's only an hour away until the new year.
I think with that, he would work to head back home, so that way he could bring in the new year, spending time with his grandmother.
Wonderful. Then we'll go ahead and move on. Ivy.
Hello.
Hello. You have it better than most tonight. Pixie invited you to a party.
Okay.
And you're well aware of Pixie's reputation when it comes to her parties. People go there for one reason and one reason only, and that is to get as fucked up as humanly possible. Music is blaring. You don't know how she hasn't had the cops called on her yet. The music is loud. There are thinbloods and mortals and caitiff alike, all there to enjoy the atmosphere. Lines of coke are being done on the tables. Joints are getting passed around. There's people having alcohol. There's people taking mortals off into rooms to enjoy the fruit of the labor that Pixie was able to provide. What would you be doing?
Oh. Oh, where would we start? We'd probably just start by drinking something. Just
Okay.
some kind of generic beer.
No beer.
Nothing super exciting.
Those come at about a dime a dozen. There are coolers packed with almost like the beer that you find in like a package store or like a liquor shop that costs like 5 pounds a bottle. And the bottles are big. Some call it a loner's drink because it's cheap. It's not that good. Even on the standards of a mortal, it's not that good tasting, but it does the job. Pixie sees you drinking a beer, and she runs up, and she's got this very bright, colorful rainbow tutu to kind of match her hair, and she's wearing this white corset, and she wraps her arm around you. Hey, can we talk?
Hey. I mean, I don't have anything else going on, so why not?
Wonderful, wonderful. Listen, I need a favor. No, it's New Year's Eve, but I'll make it worth your while.
Hey, better. I've only just got here, so going to be pulling me away from the party. Maybe better do something.
Well, you know, I make promises that I intend to keep. But you're far better at getting specific party favors than I am. We have a couple of newbies that recently found their way into our side of the pond. You mind giving them a warm welcome?
It depends on what you want me to set them up with.
Whatever you can set them up with to get them as talkative as possible. You were able to work a miracle with that Gabriel friend of yours. I assume that you can do the same for people who actually know what they're doing.
I should be able to pull some strings and make something happen.
Excellent. And of course I'll compensate you, because I don't know where you fucking get it. Or how you get it. How do you get it?
A lady never tells her secrets.
Oh, jeez.
It's more fun that way.
Is that it? Speaking of a woman who never gives away her secrets, as a payment and a thank you, I might have some information for you.
Well, that ought to be interesting. I've heard things have been... Well, things are always going downhill in this city, but...
Well, of course. You can't get more rock bottom than London, darling. That's the beauty of it. But I heard a little something that you might find of interest. That we might find of interest. Something we've been missing for quite some time, ever since I gave you and your friend that party favor.
Oh. Well,
Yep.
I'll see what I can do with the new ones, and then we can talk.
Good. And she'll kind of wrap an arm around you and pull you close, and she takes you to the back room. One of those I'm gonna separate to go take care of vampire business with. It's a small room that is dimly lit with a black light. People are wearing white and pastels and neons to kind of make their clothes illuminate more. You see a small handful of various men, women, some that are tall, some that are short. You see a couple of really pretty girls with various different colors in their hair. A couple of them almost remind you of Pixie. All right. So this is what's your name? I'm Cassie. Cassie, and you are Daryl. Daryl, and I believe this one's Nadia. The three of you, this is Ivy. Ivy knows how to potty probably better than anybody else I know. She's gonna hook you up, and if you screw her over, I'll just kill you. All right. And she turns around and kind of gives you a light tap on the shoulder. Have fun.
All right, so three of you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose it's a good question. Where should we start? How would you like to start? I can get just about anything.
Well, we were told you are kind of a professional at hunting down what we're looking for. We're from the States. Well, listen. We are looking for a very specific type of drug. She told us that you know how to find it, or are at least semi-proficient in hunting it down. If you're able to find us, Ash.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
there's been a bit of a shortage in supply in the city recently. It's been kind of hard to source the materials.
Yeah, and you can actually see Nadia kind of scratching at her neck. She looks like that she's going through some serious withdrawal symptoms. I'm not going to make you roll for it. You've seen mortals go through the same symptoms as she has. You yourself have experienced other thinbloods in your time going through what she's going through right now. It looks like that she's really aching for a hit of whatever. If you have any on you right now, I'll pay. I'll pay. I don't care what it costs. I'll pay.
That's a dangerous thing to say. What do you have on you? What are you willing to pay?
I've got money.
How much?
I can give you 200.
$200.
Mm-hmm.
For 200, I'd be willing to tell you where you could go to get some, but that's not going to be enough to... No, that doesn't cover the cost of...
Well, what the fuck do you want then? What? Name your price. Name your price.
Well, I think... Well, first, I'm curious about all of you. How did you get into Ash? How did you find yourself in this situation?
Well, we were living in Chicago, where then shit kind of hit the fan. And so we needed to kind of find a place to hide. Some old bitch was kind of dusted. And we knew somebody who could use her ashes to do some really stupid stuff with it, so we kind of brought it to him. And then he told us to all we needed was a hit, and it was you obviously you've probably taken it, like, you know, it feels like you feel everything and then nothing at once, like you're on the verge of nirvana and then it gets stripped away from you. And we've been kind of craving that high ever since. We made a living doing it in the States, but unfortunate circumstances landed us here, and we met her. She's scary, but she told us that she could introduce us to you, and you might be able to help us out.
Well, for tonight, I can only help one of you out directly tonight. Just a bit of a problem, considering that there are three of you. And more of a problem because I'd very much like to keep this for myself.
Even if you could tell us where we could get our hands on some sort of supply.
Well, your best bet would probably be to go to Ibiza, but that's a bit difficult, I imagine. Like I said, there's been a bit of a shortage of materials here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, what the fuck is going on with this city? I mean, there were influx of our kind, the other kind, the other kind, and we come here and it's like, I don't know, we met her and then like that's about it, and I guess you. I think this is the most amount of people that we've seen in any sort of capacity, and we've been here for about a month.
To make a long story rather short, the city's kind of going to shit.
Kind of?
Well, it could be worse.
It could be Chicago.
Okay. At least the buildings are still standing.
Well, kind of. Whatever happened here, you know, there are still some buildings that look like they've been torn to shit and back, but that's neither here nor there. If you find any, we can make deals. Trade, quote unquote, secrets.
Alright, well, I'll set you up with this for free. I'll do what I can. I'll get in contact with as many people as I'm aware of that deal in this kind of thing. And I'll take that 200. Just to...
You are... Well, I call you a saint, but no, you're not.
No, I'm not.
And she takes the 200 pounds out of her wallet and hands them over to you. Nadia holds out her hand and expectantly.
Are you waiting for something?
Never mind.
I told you I'd put in some words. Keep in mind, you know what goes into this stuff.
Fine. And she writes down a phone number on a piece of paper and hands it over to you. If you get any information as to where we can find this shit, get in contact with this number, and we can arrange meetings.
Of course.
And then I'll see if I can pull some strings to get you some other stuff.
Alright. One more thing. Are any of you able to do the more generic? The regular things.
They kind of look at the three of them, and Daryl raises his raises one finger up in the air. Yeah, that's me. Ivy, I want you to make me a wits and awareness roll.
All right. Two successes.
Okay. He looks normal. You don't see anything out of the ordinary. He just, he looks a little bit fidgety, but
just looks like a guy.
Just looks like a guy. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not going to be quite the same. Nothing ever really is. There's a reason stuff is as expensive as it can be.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can hook you up with something more mundane.
All right. Thank you. And
it's a pleasure doing business.
You too. If anybody asks if you've seen us, with the exception of her, no.
I'm sorry. Have we met before?
And Nadia gives you a smirk and shoots you a wink. And they turn around to kind of go back to whatever it looked like they were doing beforehand. She's still scratching at her skin. But it looks like whatever they're trying to do to kind of get their mind off of it is beginning to work. And you find yourself able to leave the room with Pixie waiting outside the door. Well, were you able to get them at least a little bit of information or whatever?
I've promised that I'll put in some words. I know some people, and one of them seems to be able to do the regular stuff, which while it might not be able to give them quite the high they're looking for, it should serve to kind of balance things out a bit in the other direction, give them something to do.
Sure, yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad for them, Left abandoned. I mean, not that we all weren't, but at least some of us are able to find some sort of soul system. I guess camaraderie or whatever the fuck. Now, about that information. I heard a little rumor that, there's some old ones that might be coming.
Excellent. That might actually be able to get production back into some things. Depending on how long it takes, how old they are, and a whole lot of other factors that none of us can work out for, of course, but
I would just be careful with the group that I heard are making their way in. I've heard some really crazy shit. You ever heard of the Sabbat?
Storyteller, have I?
Make me a wits and occult check.
All right, I'm not great at this. 2 successes.
The name rings a bell. You don't quite know what it is that the Sabbat does, but there are a couple of thinbloods that you've done business with in the past that have told you that they've had some really weird experiences with that particular group of kindred. They didn't go into full detail though, and you were able to kind of piece together that it might be a trauma response. So you don't know exactly who they are or what they do, but you've heard of them, and you're able to piece together that they are, well, you're a monster, but the monster's monster almost.
Well, the name rings a bell, and all the things I've heard, though, none of them are good. So, I think that paints at least enough of a picture for me to be cautious.
Yeah, so, just be careful. Yeah. I if you need any help or anything, I can pull some strings, but I'd rather not get my nails dirty with crazy if I can avoid it.
Well, you should probably stop hanging out with me then.
Yeah, but you're like a fun, bad, and crazy. I don't know. I like you.
Oh, is it just me, or have there been a lot of animals around recently?
You know, now that I think of it, I thought that it was just the drugs talking, but I thought I saw a monkey. Didn't your friend have a monkey?
Yeah, I think he did. One is enough, but 2, especially if the second one's running around the city.
Ivy, no offense, but your fucking friends are weird. I've seen who you hang around with. I think the only one that has some sort of normalcy to them is the one that does all the tattoos and stuff. But like,
Then you clearly haven't seen enough. None of us are any semblance of normal. Kind of comes with the territory.
I mean, fair. To be fair, normal's boring, but there's normal, and then there's Gabriel.
Oh, he's interesting.
You just try to get him to do more drugs. See how that works out again.
Unfortunately for him, I think we'd have to go through a bunch of hoops. I don't think he can just take them like I can.
That's the thing. Well, anyway, feel free to enjoy yourself at my humble abode. Midnight's approaching, so, you know, let loose, cut back, have some fun. For once, we don't have to fucking worry, so. And she gives you another pat on the shoulder and shoots you another wink, and before you're able to answer, she is suddenly lost in the crowd.
So anyway, about that cocaine hit.
Yeah, it's super easy. Like, the drugs around here are very simple to find. Like, it seems like everybody is doing them, and you actually know a couple of people at this party, and then you realize that they literally bought those drugs from you, like, 2 days ago. It's a lot of your product that's being kind of pushed around. So, you allow yourself to get lost and enjoy your night and party and do whatever it is that Ivy wants to do.
Yeah, She is genuinely going to kind of see if she can get some strings pulled to get, the basics, cocaine, weed, set up for at least the one that can do it.
Yeah.
And they can figure themselves out from there.
Yeah, after pulling a couple of strings, you're able to get your hands on some MDMA, some Molly.
Hell yeah.
And he is very, very thankful to have a new potential contact. And you once again are able to get lost in the crowd and enjoy your night. New Year's Eve has come and gone. You all find yourself awake, some hungry, some not. New Year's Eve was a bit of a wild ride for everybody in one form or another. But you all find yourself in a tattoo shop, your normal meeting place. The chick who runs it is cool with your kind, her being a full-blooded kindred herself. She allows you all to come in, please, and use this as kind of a collaborative meeting area for you all to get together and just discuss, plan, try to survive. The tattoo shop is called the Skull and Sage, and it was founded about 5 years ago. And it has a small following. The tattoo shop owner kind of gestures for y'all to come inside and shows you the back room. And the back room is spacious and it's nicely decorated. There's a couple of couches. There's like a little corkboard with bloodborne pathogen training classes that need to be taken. Alannah, you know that even though you are who you are, her business is run on a fairly tight ship. She makes you go out and learn and take those classes, and it sometimes is a good refresh and reminder that you're still a person who needs to learn in order to keep doing what you do. The room is purple and gold to match her aesthetic. Inside are posters of various bands, more death metal aligned. But other than that, it's fairly cozy. Temperature's nice, cool. She kind of waves the four of you off and leaves you to just talk to one another. The first time that you four have seen each other in probably a couple of days.
Yeah, I think Alannah's just posted up on the couch, probably was had a client earlier, maybe beginning of the night, so kind of winding down from working a little bit. So she looks around at everyone else and just goes, anything new recently?
Well, not anything any of us want to hear. We may have some unwanted visitors coming in the future.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
Yeah, we heard about that.
And do we think that it will affect us, or just the others?
From what I've heard, if we are ever stuck dealing with group that's coming in, it's going to be unpleasant, to say the least.
Yeah, I think I'll probably have to deal with them through my sire, but, I don't know much else beyond that.
I got pretty much the same sort of vibe.
What do you mean you'll have to deal with them through your sire?
Well, my sire is, full-blooded, and I think he is part of the group bringing people to the city. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to, I think I've heard him mention something about a chantry before.
Chantry? What's
The feeling there
what's
might.
that?
I get the feeling there might be more than one group coming in then.
Yeah. I think he is more focused on his clan. And chantry is like, I don't know, it's like a place where Tremere study their magic.
Hocus pocus shit. Don't like it.
Yeah, so I heard that there might be some members of a group called the Sabbat coming into town.
What do I know about the Sabbat?
So, because you have full contact with your sire, I'm gonna let you roll an intelligence and occult. I'm gonna give you a 2-die bonus to that.
Okay.
Anybody else who would like to roll that, by the way, intelligence and occult check. Don't forget to make sure that after you guys made your rouse checks that you add, if you gained a hunger, you add that to your hunger tracker, so it updates your dice.
That'll be 5 successes from me.
4 successes from me.
Okay.
I'm just not gonna roll.
We've been studying our books.
You don't want to roll your 1 die?
I do not want to roll my singular die. No, thank you.
You could get a success.
I
Technically,
could.
if you rouse, you could roll 2 dice.
Oh, well, in that case.
All right. Yeah, Ivy, you know from the last check, you know of the name, you don't know that much about them. Alexander, you've never heard of them. You don't know. Sabbat, that sounds like it could be like something, maybe like part of like a religious group. Like you've heard of like people going through like sabbatical, but nothing about the Sabbat. My 2 little smarty pantses. With 4 and 5 successes, you are both aware that the Sabbat are factions within kindred society. Like I told Ivy earlier, they are the monster's monster. They're the ones that wear their beasts with pride and aren't afraid to show it. They are the fighters of the elders, the ones that are trying to kill off the Methuselahs for one reason or another. They're like vampire extremists. They have a strong dislike, and Alannah, you would know this specifically. They have a very strong dislike for the Camarilla. They believe that the beast is meant to be embraced and not hidden in the shadows. Your sire has told you that it's probably safe for you to avoid them by any means necessary. They will just go and embrace anybody willy-nilly. And you both know that the bot, and from either word of mouth or occult books that you might have gotten your hands on, they are often referred to as Cainites. They have true belief that Cain is the original vampire. And through that, and through religion, have managed to basically build like militia, military forces to go in and fight anybody who might be trying to be more in touch with their humanity. anybody who tries to deny what they are, who they are. They're kind of scary.
Yeah, they are incredibly bad news. If they're coming into town, that's very not good.
That's just what I heard.
If they're coming to town, we need to get the word out, get people ready.
Yeah, I think that is good. I honestly don't. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we are definitely not the kind of kindred that they want.
You sure?
I don't think I am, but they want people that are more in touch with the beast.
Yeah, the things I've heard, a few stories, seem to have been light on details because the person kind of blocked the details out.
Yeah.
Kind of as a trauma response. That or they were blitzed out of their mind. Either way.
Both very valid possibilities.
Yeah, could just be both at the same time.
Yeah.
Seems like the most likely.
I mean, I'm all for, letting people that we know that, this might be happening and to possibly keep their heads down or be ready for, I don't want to say a fight, but
ST.
Yes.
Would Gabriel know of any Camarilla or Anarch? I don't know what would be the right word. Group that is now prevalent in the city, or are they still kind of nowhere to be seen?
Let me just check something of yours really fast. Let me see if we have any. Okay, so you would know. There's small hints of not whole Camarilla courts or Anarch groups. There are some people who have come from other countries, other parts of the world, who have shared their experience with being either more Camarilla or more Anarch aligned. A lot of people who have fled to London in recent years, though, are people like you, thinbloods, caitiffs, people who didn't really have much of a place in either kind of sect. But there are people who are either running from one of the sects or have been sent here to kind of just get away from either from being in trouble or to hide from scourges, and you would know what a scourge is. They're the ones that hunt your kind down and try to kill you.
Yep.
You would all know by proxy what the Camarilla is, and by proxy what the Anarchs are. The one that is kind of up in the air are the Sabbat, but majority of the kindred who live here align more autarkist or independent. Not a major presence of any of the sects so far.
Well, the first time I'll say it. The Camarilla and the Anarchs did used to protect us, at least from the Sabbat. But now that they're gone, looks like we might be on our own.
I don't think the Camarilla were really protecting us. Remember, they're the ones that actually say that the Scourge has a job.
Yeah.
Oh.
We've been caught in the middle of a nocturnal dick measuring contest, and we're the losers.
The way to put it. So what, we hit up people we know, just being like, hey, just so you know, a bunch of really fucking bad kindred are gonna show up in London soon. You best avoid them. I feel like we should have a little bit more information before we go warning people.
I got some people I can ask, and I got something we might be able to use, and he will pull out the business card he got from Jess for the Iron Maiden. Apparently, this is a rather inclusive night gym.
Interesting.
One that might help some of us get a bit more prepared for having to, I don't think we're going to be able to run and hide all the time, so we might have to fight.
Alannah very much looks at her very not toned arms and just goes, yeah. I didn't really throw a lot of punches in my old life.
Purely hypothetical question. How do the three of you feel about fire?
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I don't really like it, but I don't run away from it.
Yeah, I mean, don't press it to me, but I'm not gonna freak out like the older ones do.
I would rather avoid it.
There's always got to be a wrench in the plan, doesn't there?
I mean, fire is not a plan.
I'm not surprised that you went directly to arson, Ivy.
Yeah.
I could make it happen very quickly. Let's just say that. To give us time to run away at the very least.
Yeah, but we don't even know what we need to burn.
Yes. Perhaps keep that plan as Plan D or Plan E.
Or Plan F. Please, you guys hear as the door opens and Alannah, your boss kind of pops her head in. Can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah. Get up and
actually, this might pertain to all of you. Because this kind of affects the shop.
Oh, okay.
I was just given notice that we are unfortunately closing down our shop. Somebody.
Why?
Somebody bought us out of our. Somebody bought us out of a lease. And apparently, whoever it is, bought up all of the shops on the strip.
What? Oh god, fucking gentrification.
Yeah, apparently some gentleman decided that he wanted a monopoly on this street in particular, which I don't quite understand, but...
Does seem to be a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Aren't the tower ones the ones that have money?
I don't know if it's kindred.
Well, given the things we've heard, it wouldn't be I'd imagine it wouldn't be too far of a shot.
I can't rule out the possibility that it is, but I just wanted to make you aware of the situation. I'm going to see what I can do.
Yeah. If there's anything I can do as well, I mean, I can see if I can figure out who it was. Maybe we can strike some sort of deal.
Maybe. But Alannah, I want you to know that, if by some reason we need to move shops, I can get a couple of friends to at least get us a small booth. Honestly, you're one of my more preferred artists. I'd rather not lose you.
I mean, I don't plan on going anywhere.
And if, at least for the time being, if the shop does end up needing to be at least closed for the time while things are being negotiated, I do have a place that we could meet, as long as you'll promise to not ask any questions.
I will do my best.
Given my job, asking questions gets me dead, so I'm okay with that.
Good, it's that kind of situation. Maybe not dead, but...
Well, I mean, too late for that, but
You know what I mean.
Dead. Forever dead. Well, this New Year's Day is certainly taking a turn.
what a way to ring in the new year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do we want to... feels like... we need more information. We need more information.
I'll just look to Alannah and just grin. I could go talk to Big Mike.
I mean, might have some information. Definitely seemed to have information before.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, everything that Pixie told me, I've already told all of you, so...
Yeah. And Osire's not back yet, or else I'd ask what he knows. And if he's heard anything, because, being full-blooded kindred gets a little bit more. I mean, and then not the best at this, but I may poke around and see who's trying to buy the shop, or bought the shop in this whole block, because yeah, sure, could be just a rich dude, but I don't know, something about it is rubbing me the wrong way.
I mean, if you need somebody that can get into places that they're not supposed to be...
I mean, I definitely might need something like that, decent at it, but not nearly as good as you are. It's not like I can...
Is it just me, or have there been a lot of animals running around recently?
I mean, now that you mention it, I didn't really think much of it before. I lived in Los Angeles, and there were so many fucking stray cats.
I mean, honestly, not having to just see the giant fucking spiders in Perth has kind of made me numb.
I'm not talking about... Like, our friend's monkey is one thing. I could have sworn I saw one just running around outside.
All right, everybody. My apologies. It is not an HHS stream unless something goes awry. For those who are watching at home, we had a bit of a problem with my headsets, but we're back.
Hooray!
Hooray!
And now it's an HHS stream.
Hell yeah!
Minted.
But feel free to continue.
Perhaps Scarlet could help find out who bought out the shop. She's good at getting things.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, I'm sure if I drop by her house with the delivery, I might be able to get a bit of information. Or her help in this, at the very least.
If I go talk to Big Mike, I need a list of what to ask him. And just keep in mind, the more we ask, the more he's going to ask in return.
I think if anything for Big Mike, it should just be, I guess, specifically information, if we can get any information on the Sabbat that might be coming.
Okay.
I don't know. Does anyone have any specifics on that? Like, I mean, the only other thing is like when and where they might arrive.
How specific can we be?
Yeah.
Given his contacts, we can get to minutia. Did I use that word right? Minutia?
Yeah,
Yes, you used the word right.
Hey. I was actually thinking it might not be a bad idea to ask about the animals, because there are actual monkeys just running around London. That's funky. It's not normal, not something we should just ignore.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I don't think it's that important.
I think that can go like 3 or 4 on our list of priorities.
Yeah, I'd push it a bit lower.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
6, maybe 7.
I think it's something we can like look into. I mean, if it's monkeys running around, it's either we're in the beginning of 28 days later, or someone broke into a zoo, or
somebody broke into like a vet clinic.
Yeah.
See, I was afraid of 28 days later type shit.
Who would do such a thing?
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to be a 28 days later situation. Unless that vet clinic was testing something horrific.
Was it?
Or
something like that.
Or something horrific got put into the monkeys from elsewhere.
As you say this, Cadaver pokes his head out. He was hiding in Gabriel's jacket. He kind of pokes his head out and climbs on top of Gabriel's head and just perches.
By the way, did I mention that I stole a monkey for Gabriel?
God damn it.
Yeah, you did conveniently not mention that before. Was this the monkey you saw earlier?
No, it was a different one.
Let me introduce you. Cadaver. These are my friends. And they'll kind of pick him up and, her, and kind of move her over to, kind of closer to everyone. Go on now. Say hello.
Curiosity, who here has dots in Animalkin?
Not
That's
me.
a no from me, Chief.
Okay, alright.
Ivy's head is just in her hands.
She kind of sniffs the two of you. And you two have dealt with animals in the past. They're not huge fans of the dead.
Yep. I don't like extend my hand or anything.
Yeah,
But-
no.
It looks like Gabriel has her trained to not outright attack you. She just
good.
she just kind of sniffs and finds you indifferent, and then begins to kind of go back on top of Gabriel's head to perch and starts just kind of rummaging through his hair. Probably looking
She's fantastic.
for insects.
That's the word for it. Yeah.
You would find her that way.
What do you mean? She's my little helper. My nurse when I need assistance.
Don't like
Watch.
You shouldn't need assistance. You work on corpses.
that. Also, you named her Cadaver.
Yeah, that's like
What's wrong with that?
I don't think we have time to explain that.
Yeah, that's a whole other night's conversation.
yeah, we don't have time to unpack that.
Oh well.
Oh.
And he'll kind of just take the monkey and put it back in the kind of like the coat area and give it a little scratch.
Hey, ST, is the shop owner still here? Or did she step back out?
She did step back out conveniently when I lost connection on my microphone and my headset.
Have any of you ever heard of ash? Just out of sheer curiosity.
Like stuff that comes from fires?
Something like that.
With someone with thoughts in a cult, does that mean anything to me?
You're all thinbloods, so all of you would have some sort of idea of like ash is like the thin blood super drug. Two of you have firsthand experience with it.
Yeah, Gabriel just rolls his eyes and looks annoyed.
Oh, just because you can't handle the drugs, don't take it out on me.
I mean, that's a very leading question. Where are you going with the question?
Ivy kind of like reaches a hand into the pocket on her shirt and flips out the baggie. So, I may or may not be in the process of trying to get some more into the city. Just as a little heads up. So if we're ever in a situation, especially if, I don't know, one of the older ones happens to kick it in front of us and we have a chance to gather some of their ashes.
This conversation just took a very dark turn, and it was already pretty bleak.
Yeah, it's like a Garth Ennis comic.
So if I had more, I'd show you how stuff could make what you could do with this, but I'd rather not use something like this just for a demonstration. Needless to say, it almost makes you feel like you're a full blood. At least for a little bit.
Good to know if we ever need it. I'm not sure if this is a situation that requires it.
Not right now, but in the future, we might.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I mean, what, do you snort like cocaine? Can you get addicted to it?
It's a drug, so...
Yes to the first question. If you do it wrong, to the second question.
Oh, well, fuck that.
Well, so our plan is to go ask Big Mike about Sabbat. You know, like if we want to get specific, we can ask. I mean, maybe we can figure out when and where they'll be arriving in the city.
And what? Throw them a welcoming party?
Avoid them at the least.
Yeah, at least so we know where to avoid. And so we can tip off people to be like, hi, yes, avoid this part of the city next Thursday.
Yeah, and then we have to avoid the rest of the city the rest of the time because they're going to spread out like a cancer.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, do you suggest that we, I don't know, show up and with a, like, fucking reenact the Warriors? Like, Sabbat, come out?
I suggest we try to get people ready to deal with them. Because if they're going to be coming here, they're going to be coming here to stay. And I'm not going to be going back to hiding every single time someone a little bit older than me shows up.
And I doubt they're going to be terribly subtle about it anyway, so.
That's very true. Well, I mean, the other option is we could go check out that gym. Like, I mean, if it's run by a full blood, maybe they know some stuff. And
oh, she was a full blood, all right.
yeah, I mean, maybe know stuff and, you know, training and getting a little bit more, just getting any kind of fighting skills probably good, but
I don't think she'll do it for free. I think she's going to ask for payment, or she's going to want us to throw in with whoever she decides to go rah-rah for.
You know,
Didn't strike me as Tower, though.
I mean, I imagine between the group of us, we can at least manage to put together some fighting skill.
I can fight.
I know my way around a knife.
I can throw a punch and not break my hand.
It's a good start.
Well, let's start.
And I'm good with medical tools.
Scalpels are medical tools.
Horrifying.
That is the least horrifying thing that has been said in this entire conversation.
Especially by Gabriel.
That's fair. I saw Hostile way too young.
Yikes.
Any age is too young for hostile.
I mean, that's fair.
It's not a great series.
Your boss says as she pops her head back in. Okay, so I made a phone call. The guy who apparently is buying out our property, doesn't have, he has a first name. I don't know if I quite take it seriously, though.
And what is it?
Sounds like a pseudonym. He calls himself Bane, like the Batman character.
Okay.
Alright.
Gonna break us.
So that's all I was able to get from the phone call. I tried to reach out to the leasing company. Listen, if you can search out this Bane fella and convince him to let me keep the shop, I can get you all some of my personal stash as a thank you. And I've got some good stuff.
I mean, that's true. I mean, hey, that's a question for Big Mike. Who is this Bane who is buying up property around? Because that screams kindred at this point.
I'll put it on the list.
Because if they're buying up stuff here, they're probably buying stuff up other places.
Most definitely. All right, and she reaches into her pocket and takes out a couple of business cards. And Alannah, you've seen her business cards about 1 million times. The three of you have hung around this shop enough to know that she's kind of private. She only really offers up her business cards to clients and those who work for her shop. But she hands them out to you. And the thing that's different about the business cards that she leaves out for her clients and stuff, and the cards that she's giving to you, is the phone number. There's a different phone number on these. It just says Golden Sage Tattoo Company, Ari Bell, owner, and then the phone number that's different from the shop's number. Make sure you don't lose those. If you get any information and you're able to, kind of find out who the hell this guy is, give me a call. Okay?
Of course.
Yep. And if you manage to convince him to give me back my shop, I'll pay the four of you, boom. How about that?
Works for me.
We'll look at everyone else.
Ivy's gonna kind of cock her head. Out of curiosity, do you know anything about the Sabbat?
They suck. Why?
Oh, okay. Well,
At least everyone's on the same page.
that's good.
Well, here's the thing. The Sabbat are they're interesting, right? Like, well, not interesting. They're kind of psychopaths. A little bit more unhinged than even the Malkavians. You all know what a Malkavian is, right? I don't have to, you all know, like, the basics, right? Like, I don't have to, like, have a lesson for all of you, right?
Yeah, well, I got the rundown.
Yeah, I've been around long enough for that.
All right, I'm just making sure, because if I have to have that set of talk again, I'm going to need to drink.
I'll probably make that happen for you.
I'm a little bit more capable of making it happen. It's a whole, you drink. I'm not going to explain this. Yes, but if you, the Sabbat are, to put it lightly, if you are aware that any of the higher ups of the Sabbat are in the town, it is already too late.
Well, that's cheery.
Well, it might not be too late yet.
Are there actually Sabbat coming in? Like, you don't actually think that, do you?
That's what I've heard.
Oh dear. That's not good.
Don't make any long-term plans, I would say.
Oh, yeah,
We can't die. We don't age most of our plans are long term.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, so my clan is originally a part of the Sabbat. Some of them stayed, some of them didn't. It is quite shocking because the Sabbat is actually, from what I've heard before I moved back to London with my spouse, the Sabbat were dying out, so the fact that there might be some coming into London is bad, but also curious.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them went off and are fighting the big war in the Middle East.
Yeah, Damien has mentioned that before. I mean, it is definitely, it's not good, and I definitely want to understand more of why it's happening. Like, why are they coming here? Not why they're fighting
Well,
Yeah, it seems like old blood issues. No offense.
I'm not old. I'm not that far removed from you guys, actually. I'm not old. Take offense to that. It's very impolite.
Eh.
I apologize for my idiot friends.
It's all right.
I'd never said I
like
was
you.
to get along with.
Well, listen, I like the four of you enough to not throw your mouth shut from the inside, so.
You like me?
You're all right.
That was very sad.
Gabriel looks surprised.
You're not, like, the worst that I've seen. You haven't, tried to overtake my shop. And I haven't had to kill you. So, you're all right in my book.
That's a very low bar.
It's a very low and stupid bar, but it's still a bar.
One you can trip over.
Yes, well, when it comes to the people in this city, you can't really be picky with who you associate yourself with. There's not many of us to begin with, and those who are here are, well, kind of the outcasts, I guess. Well, not many of us. So I kind of take the companionship that I can get. But yeah, if you find out who the fuck this Bane guy is and are able to convince him to give me back my property, because if I have to go without my property, I'm going to be very angry. That'd be great, and I'll pay you all a minor boon. How about that?
Works for me.
That'll be fine.
Like I said, you all now have my contact information. And I wish you all the best of luck. I have another client. If you need anything, Alannah, you know where to find me.
Of course.
And she kind of tips her fingers together and begins to slowly go and grab ink from some of the shelves that have extra supplies lying around. Please make yourselves as comfortable as you possibly can. And I bid you all adieu. She very slowly makes her way out. All of you, actually everybody except Alannah can kind of, if you want to kind of decipher what she might be, I'll allow you guys to make some intelligence and occult rolls. Alannah, you know outright from the back, she's a, you know who she, you know what
She's a
clan she is.
dragon.
Oh yeah, she is.
That's not my role. I did get 2 successes.
You know what? Why not? Let's see if Alexander can get a success.
Would you like to rouse your blood to gain an extra die?
You know what? Why not? Sure, let's go for it.
3 successes.
I'm going to get hungrier, but first, the roll.
All right.
No.
And do remember, as a part of the rules, because you have all roused to kind of boost your intelligence, you now have that extra die. If you did rouse the blood, you have that extra die to all intelligence checks until the scene ends.
Oh boy, 2 dice.
That's 1 extra die that you didn't have before.
It's true. He's
But you
doubled
do-
his intelligence.
You do go up in hunger. Yeah. Those who got at least 3 successes, you know very well from her mannerisms. She's a dragon. She's a part of Clan Samitsi. Often, and it kind of those who know of the Sabbat know that a lot of Samitsi align themselves with the Sabbat. But they, as well as a couple of other more Sabbat-aligned clans, have begun to kind of distance themselves from the Sabbat. Samitsi more willing to align themselves with anarchs if they exist within that particular city, or they go independent. She leaves the 4 of you to your own with a job in mind and a potential boon to be earned.
Alright, so we at least have a name to go on.
Yes.
Alexander, is there anything you might need to go talk to Big Mike?
Let's see. And he just looks over his list. Let's see. We got Sabbat, Camarilla. Animals are way down on the list. Bane.
Just take the animals off the list.
No. I will not have monkeys running around my city.
Well, I'm sorry.
I think you just solved why monkeys are running around the city.
Why do you
Point
think
at
I was...
Cadaver.
There may or may not have been some animal testing happening. The animals all seemed rather uncomfortable with what was going on. I was already there.
Alexander just kind of stares at Ivy for a second, and then just, while still staring at her, just like very violently crosses it off the list.
I told you it wasn't important.
Anything else that I should ask Big Mike?
I honestly can't think of anything. Can anyone else? Does anyone else have any questions in the vein of any of those?
Maybe I should ask you about the people that run Iron Maiden.
Out of game. Do I know who Big Mike is?
No.
In that case, Gabriel just stays quiet, playing with his monkey.
I mean, I think the fewer questions we can ask, the better. I don't like... Well, like
Yeah, I
it's been
already
said,
got to do a run for him because he told us about the fact that older kindred were making their way here.
all I had to do was lead some people on about drugs. You should pick better people to hang out with.
I mean, my people pay me.
So do mine. She pulls out the 200 pounds she got.
Well, yeah.
All for a
I
few
mean,
words.
that I mean, I think like learning a little bit more about this person who runs the gym can be lower on the list, because I mean that's one that we could just go there and pretend at least we're interested in getting in shape and I don't know, snoop around.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, hey, maybe she's Sabbat, and then boom, cross it off the list.
She didn't seem like a fucking psycho.
Yeah, if the stories that have been told are anything to go by, she seems far too sane. I think sane is the right word.
Sane seems to be the right word.
Yeah. I mean, fair. So I mean, we got our questions.
If your friend, Big Mike, can get us a name, a full name to this Bane, I'm sure I could look up their medical record, get an address.
Not if they're kindred, they're not likely to have a record.
You have a point.
Especially if they're old and...
The four of you have a list, a plan. Something to start your investigation. What is going on in London? Who is trying to make their way into the city? Who's buying properties left and right? As you all sit on that, the current time is 9:00 p.m. Four of you sit in the comfort of a back room at a tattoo shop. It's cold. But there's now a sense of desperation. You have something to lose. Potential ally. And some research to do.